Hello, my name is Alfred, and my group and I are going to be presenting the 5 agents of evolutionary change. I'm going to be going over mutation and gene flow. So first of all, number 1, mutations. It's basically mistakes, process, or environmental impacts that affect the genome. And this causes variation in different traits in individuals. An example of this is humans that are able to drink milk. That's a mutation. It's a beneficiary mutation, and it's caused by environmental factors, transcription, or signal pathway. The next agent of evolutionary change is gene flow. Gene flow is basically the transfer of alleles from one population to another. It can be caused by wind or current gametes. It's immigration and of individual gametes. An example of this is plants that live near copper mines have a high copper tolerance over time, and slowly the alleles are passed on from one plant to another by wind that carries the pollen to other plants far away, which over time they also slowly have a copper intolerance, or tolerance rather.
Hi, my name is Angel, and my group and I are going to be presenting the 5 agents of evolutionary changes. One of the agents is non-random mating. Non-random mating is categorized into 2 categories, which is assorted mating and disordered mating. Assorted mating means that the phenotype of similars are more likely to mate, while disordered mating is indifferent phenotypes are more likely to mate, this causing homozygotes to increase and heterozygotes to increase. Another agent is genetic drift. Genetic drift can be categorized into 2 things, which is the founder effect and the bottleneck effect. The founder effect is basically when a small population is present and that gene is present within that small population, it will reproduce until it's a larger population, and that gene will be seen more and more throughout the population. Bottleneck effect is basically when a mass destruction occurs to the species. This in turn kills off the species because there's no more species to reproduce and create more species with those genes.
So hi, my name is Ricardo, and I'm going to be covering natural selection as part of the 5 agents of evolutionary change. So natural selection is basically the way by which nature selects those few organisms that have favorable traits or favorable phenotypes. So by the way that this happens, it needs to be something different from what the common population can have. So we can take a giraffe, for example. Short giraffes are going to be less favorable over tall giraffes for 2 reasons. For one, they have easier access to food, which could be one of the favorable traits that they have. And there could be different factors that go into it. It could be just more food, avoidance of predators, easier access to shelter. There could be various factors that happen, just to name a few. And in order for these natural selections, the more dominant ones that we want to put into that sense are going to be able to produce more offspring so they're favorable, and these newer generations are going to show them as they progress on.
Hi, my name is Kendra, Loera, and I'll be talking about disruptive selection. So disruptive selection is a natural selection of the 2 extreme values instead of the intermediate one. So what this does, it increases diversity and it divides the population into distinct groups. An example can be with black, white, and gray rabbits. Black and white rabbits are more fit for survival instead of the gray rabbits.
My name is Andrea Munoz, and today I'm going to be talking to you about one of the modes of natural selection, which is directional selection. So basically what directional selection consists of is that it favors the more extreme trait. And what it leads to is a change of frequency to the left because of this extreme trait which is favored. So one of the examples I'm going to be talking to you about is the peppered moth. Before the Industrial Revolution, the peppered moth, which had little dots or spots, was preferred, and it would hide on trees because the trees were the same color as it, so these were the ones that outlived the rest. And then after the Industrial Revolution, which led to a lot of dust, a lot of smog, basically it turned the trees black. So the peppered moths began to evolve into the black moths, which were more favored. So
hi, I'm going to be talking to you about stabilizing selection. It is basically where genetic diversity decreases and the population needs stabilized on a particular trait family. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the change in the length of giraffe necks. So as you can see over here, prehistorically giraffes had very short necks and they ate leaves from very short trees. However, conditions favored the growth of trees and the trees became taller. But natural selection did not favor short-necked giraffes. However, it did favor medium-sized necks. But every so often, a giraffe was born with a very long neck, but it couldn't bend over and reach the trees. So as you can see, natural selection favors normal type, which is medium-sized necks.
Hello, my name is Valencia, and I'm going to be talking about the stabilizing selection. As we can tell, this is the population after selection, and this is the original population. Therefore, population after selection very much increased. This is the most common form of selection where the most common breed survives. It's the exact opposite of disruptive selection, as it favors the intermediate form of the trait. It causes reduction of variation